Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiv Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiv Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopi Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिय। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय।
Jai.
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Arun and happy Ekadashi to everyone.
Happy Ekadashi.
Yesterday for me. Right, so on the beautiful day of Ekadashi, we'll continue reading Srimad Bhagvatam. कल हम लोग श्लोक 33वां पढ़ रहे थे, and it's explaining how the covering of the gigantic material feature is accepted by such men with a poor fund of knowledge, and how this is explained in the following words. So, like Virat Swarup, and then how different Swarup of Lord Sri Krishna is thought about by different types of people, because the conditioned souls are covered by illusory creative cloud of matter. So let's continue reading this, and we'll get a lot more explanation in the upcoming shloks. So 34, Anilji.
Param sukshmata mama vyaktam nirvisheshanam anadi madhya nidhanam nityam vang manasah param. Therefore, beyond this gross manifestation is a transcendental manifestation finer than the finest form. It has no beginning, no intermediate stage, and no end. Therefore, it is beyond the limits of expression or mental speculation and is distinct from the material conception. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're not getting echo, yeah?
No, I'm not getting echo, no.
Okay, good. Yeah, actually, we did not read Shlok 33 yesterday. We read only till 32nd. So we missed that, but let's start.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Et bhagvato rupam sthuram te vyahatam maya mayadi vischa varnai rastivir vahirabratam. Thus, by all this, the external feature of the personality of Godhead is covered by gross forms such as those of planets, which were explained to you by me. Hare Krishna.
All right. So in this shlok, it's talking about the gross form, the material form, right? The external energy form of the God. And let's read this purport, actually. Sachin?
As explained in Bhagavad Gita 7.4, the separated material energy of the personality of Godhead is covered by 8 kinds of material coverings: earth, water, fire, air, sky, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All these are emanations from the personality of Godhead as his external energy. These coverings are just like the coverings of clouds for the sun. The cloud is a creation of the sun, yet it actually covers the eyes so that one cannot see the sun. The sun cannot be covered by the clouds. The cloud can at most extend a few hundreds of miles in the sky, but the sun is far greater than millions of miles. So a 100-mile covering is not competent to cover millions of miles. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Tarun.
Therefore, one of the various energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot, of course, cover the Lord. But these coverings are created by Him to cover the eyes of the conditioned souls who want to lord it over the material nature. Actually, the conditioned souls are covered by the illusory creative cloud of matter, and the Lord reserves the right of not being exposed to their eyes. Because they have no eyes of transcendental vision, and because they cannot see the personality of Godhead, they therefore deny the existence of the Lord and the transcendental form of the Lord. The covering of the gigantic material feature is accepted by such men with a poor fund of knowledge, and how this is so explained in the following verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The reason we read this part is again just to see how it has been compared, right? Like how once the cloud is there, you don't see the sun rays, but the sun is there. Similarly, when we are covered, right, with the material nature, we are conditioned, right? Then we don't see the transcendental form of the Lord. Yeah, we don't see the existence of the Lord in transcendental form. So that is why in the material world, we just think like this whole nature is what it is all about, and there's nothing behind it. But there is a transcendental form of Lord Shri Krishna. So continue, Nisha.
अतः परम सूक्ष्मतमं व्यक्तं निर्विशेषणं अनादि मध्य निधनं नित्यं वाङ्मनसः परम्. Therefore, beyond this gross manifestation is a transcendental manifestation, finer than the finest form. It has no beginning, no intermediate stage, or no end. Therefore, it is beyond the limits of expression or mental speculation, and it's distinct from the material conception. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. So then one was the material conception, the other one is the suksham, other than the material. So Ravi?
Yes. Amoni bhagvate drupe mayate harnivarnite ube api na gunvanti maya shrishte vipashyachit. Neither of the above form of the Lord, as just described unto you from the material angles of the vision, is accepted by the pure devotees of the Lord who knows Him well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Right. So what this is saying is, so neither of the above forms of the Lord, right? One is that people think of this whole Virat Sharup and the whole material nature and all that, right? The other one is like Nirakar, right? Just some Suksham Jyoti or something. But what this is saying is, neither of these forms is accepted by the pure devotees of the Lord, because the pure devotees of the Lord sees that Shyam Sundar form, yeah, Lord Shri Krishna's form. And it's also explained in like Bhagavad Gita, which records Arjun's experience of Vishwarup, right? When Lord Krishna shows the Vishwarup to Arjun, right? And then I think we'll just see this. Arjun, as a pure devotee of the Lord, never previously saw the contemplated universal form of the Lord, yeah, Vishwarup. But when he did see it, his curiosity was satisfied, but he was not happy to see such a form of the Lord because of his attachment as a pure devotee. Yeah, he was afraid to see the gigantic form of the Lord. He therefore prayed to the Lord to assume his four-handed Narayan or Krishna form, which could alone please Arjuna. Yeah, so it's describing how the pure devotees want to see the Shyam Sundar form and not really anything else. Rinaji?
सहवाच्य वाचकतया भगवान ब्रह्म रूप धृक नाम रूप क्रिया धत्ते सकर्मा कर्मकः परः He, the personality of Godhead, manifests himself in a transcendental form, being the subject of his transcendental name, quality, pastimes, entourage, and transcendental variegatedness. Although he is unaffected by all such activities, he appears to be so engaged. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So in the past times, he appears to be so engaged, right? But he is in a really transcendental form. And like we know, right, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always unaffected by all these activities which we see in the world, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale sfara, iti mam yo vijanti, karma bhinaso badhyate, not badhyate, right? So the Lord is never affected by the activities which he apparently performs by his different incarnations and personalities, nor does he have any desire to achieve success by fruitive activities. The Lord is full by his different potencies of wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, and thus he has no reason for physical exertion like the conditioned soul. Yeah, so the intelligent person who can distinguish between the transcendental activities of the Lord and activities of the conditioned souls is also not bound by the reaction of activities, right? So once you dedicate it, basically once somebody dedicates to Lord Sri Krishna or dedicates all the karmas, then you are not bound by the reaction of the activities, is what he's saying. Okay, now you have the big strokes. Sachin?
Prajapatin Munan, Prajapatin Munan, Devan Rishin Pitru Ganan Prathak, Siddhacharana Gandharvan, Vidyadhra Sura Gruhya Kan, Kinnarapsaroso Nagan Sarpan Kim Purushannaran, Matu Raksha Pishachansha Pretabhuta Vina Yakan. Kushman Donman Dave Talan Yatu Dhanan Grahanapi Khagan Mrugan Pashun Vrukshan Girin Drupa Saris Rupan Dvividha Chaturvidha Ye Anye Jalasthalan Bhakasah Kushala Mishra Karmana Gataya Sui Maha. O King, know from me that all living entities are created by the Supreme Lord according to their past deeds. This includes Brahma and his sons like Daksha, the periodical heads like Vaishvavata Manu, the demigods like Indra, Chandra, and Varuna, the great sages like Bhrigu, Vyasa, Vasishtha, the inhabitants of Pitraloka and Siddhaloka, the Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Asuras, Yakshas, Kinnaras, and angels, the serpentines, the monkey-shaped Impurushas, the human beings, the inhabitants of Matraloka, the demons, Pishachas, ghosts, spirits, lunatics, and evil spirits, the good and evil stars, the goblins, the animals in the forest, the birds, the household animals, the reptiles, the mountains, the moving and standing living entities, the living entities born from embryos, from eggs, from perspiration, and from seeds, and all others, whether they be in the water, land, or sky, in happiness, in distress, or in mixed happiness and distress, all of them, according to their past deeds, are created by the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So clearly mentioning all of them according to their past deeds are created by the Supreme Lord and has a beautiful purport. So let's read that. Ajay?
The varieties of living entities are mentioned in this list, and with no exception, from the topmost planet down to the lowest planet of the universe, all of them in different species of life are created by the Almighty Father Vishnu. Therefore, no one is independent of Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita 14.2, the Lord therefore claims all living entities as his offspring in the following verse. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtyaha sambhavanti yah tasam brahma mahad yonir aham vyapradah pita.
You can read it.
The material nature is compared to the mother. Although every living being is seen to come out of mother's body, it is still a fact that mother is not the ultimate cause of such a birth. The father is the ultimate cause of birth. Without the father's seed, no mother can give birth to a child. Therefore, the living beings in different varieties of forms and positions within the innumerable universes are all born of the seeds of the Almighty Father, the personality of Godhead. And only to the man with a poor fund of knowledge do they appear to be born of the material nature. Being under the material energy of the Supreme Lord, all living entities, beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant ant, are manifested in different bodies according to their past deeds. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rinaji?
The material nature is one of the energies of the Lord, meaning 7.4, Bhagavad Gita 7.4. The material nature is inferior in comparison to the living entities, the superior nature. The superior nature and inferior nature of the Lord combine to manifest all universal affairs. Some of the living entities are relatively happy in better conditions of life, whereas others are in distressed condition of life. But factually, none of them are actually happy in material conditional life. No one can be happy in prison life, although one may be a first-class prisoner and another a third-class prisoner. The intelligent person should not try to be promoted from third-class prison life to first-class prison life, but should try to be released from the prison altogether. One may be promoted to first-class prisoner, but the same first-class prisoner is again degraded to a third-class prisoner in the next term. One should try to be free from prison life and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the real goal for all types of living entities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so a long and nice purport, right? How the world has been compared like a prison, right? So all of us, like conditioned souls, are in a prison. We are trying to better our lives, maybe the materialistic life. But what it's saying is maybe you can get a first class life, but really, in the next birth, probably you can again come back to third class or whatever, right? So this cycle will continue unless, we achieve our real goal. Yeah, which is we go back home, back to Godhead by doing the devotional service. Yeah, that's the clear message. Hare Krishna, Rasiksha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
पढ़ेंगे आप?
सत्वम रजस्तम इति तीक्ष्णशूरनिरनारकाः तत्राप्येके कशोराजन् भिद्यन्ते गतस्त्रिधा यदैकैतरोऽन्याभ्यां स्वभावोपन्यते. According to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of darkness, there are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O king, even a particular mode of nature, being mixed with the other two, is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habit also.
Right, Hare Krishna. Like basically different modes of material nature, right? We know Rajogun, Tamogun, Satogun, everybody influenced by either one or multiple modes. Ravi, to read.
the living entities individually are being conducted by the particular mode of nature, but at the same time, there is a very chance of their being influenced by the other two. Generally, all conditioned souls in the material engagement are influenced by the mode of passion because every one of them is trying to lord it over and material nature to fulfill his individual desire. But in spite of the individual mode of passion, there is always the chance of being influenced by the other modes of nature by the association. If one is in the good association, he can develop the mode of goodness, and if it is in bad association, he may develop the mode of darkness or ignorance. Nothing is stereotyped. One can change his habit by good or bad association, and one has to become intelligent enough to discriminate between the good and the bad. The best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord, and by that association, one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of the Lord's pure devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, very important message. Like nothing is stereotyped, right? We have freedom to either be in good habit or bad association, right? And of course, the best association is, we know, like going back to Godhead, and that can be achieved by associating with pure devotees, right? Like, and at least, trying come together, reading Srimad Bhagvatam, doing chanting, right? One should try to raise himself by the association of the great soul. That is the way of the perfection of life.
हिंदी में वो कहावत है ना, जैसा संग वैसा रंग, वो सुने हैं कि नहीं? जैसा संग वैसा रंग, शॉर्टकट से.
Right. Right. And important thing is, it's not a stereotype. Like everyone has a freedom and they can get whatever type of gunas based on the association. Taru?
एवेदं जगद्वाथा भगवानं धर्म रूप धृतक पुष्णाति स्थापयन् विश्वं त्रियज्ञनर सुराधिभिः. He, the personality of Godhead, as the maintainer of all in the universe, appears in different incarnations after establishing the creation, and thus he reclaims all kinds of conditioned souls amongst the humans, the non-humans, and the demigods. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So at the end, this is what happens. The Lord reclaims all the conditioned souls. So, actually, let's just read this much. Anilji?
There is no difference between Lord Sri Rama, Lord Sri Krishna, and his incarnations as a fish and a hog. He is all pervading and simultaneously localized at any and every place. But the foolish person with a poor fund of knowledge, for want of that param bhavam of the Lord, cannot understand how the Supreme Lord can take the form of a man or a fish. One compares everything to one's own standard of knowledge, as the frog in the well considers the sea to be like the well. The frog in the well cannot even think of the sea, and when such a frog is informed of the greatness of the sea, it perception of the sea as being a little greater than the well. As such, one who is foolish about the transcendental science of the Lord will find it difficult to understand how Lord Vishnu can equally manifest himself in every society of living entities. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? So it's beyond our comprehension, essentially, is what it is saying, right? Because we can only compare to the standard of knowledge which we have, right? And it's comparing to a frog who is in a well. So in a well, a frog will think that, oh, this is the world, whole world. And then if somebody informs him that, hey, there's something called sea, he will think, oh, it's much larger, but he cannot comprehend how big the sea can be. And that's how it is comparing the transcendental science of the Lord. Yeah. Ajay?
ततः कालग्नि निरुद्रात्मा यत् सृष्ट मिदमात्मनः सनियच्छति तत्काले घनानि कमिवानिलः. Thereafter, at the end of the millennium, the Lord himself in the form of Rudra, the destroyer, will annihilate the complete creation as the wind displaces the clouds. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, right? And we know this whole creation and annihilation, how it keeps going. I think we wanted to read this, so it will give us more understanding of this one, but we are going to pause here. And then we'll continue reading from, the shlok tomorrow. Okay. So we'll see the bhajan and Rasiksham Prabhuji, if you want to say a few words.
हम लोग भी सारे मनुष्य के अंदर सतोगुण, तमोगुण और रजोगुण एक साथ विद्यमान रहते हैं, लेकिन सब मनुष्य में इसका मात्रा अलग अलग होता है। कोई ज्यादा सतोगुणी होता है, कोई ज्यादा रजोगुणी होता है, कोई ज्यादा तमोगुणी होता है। लेकिन दिन के प्रभाव से वो उसमें कभी सतोगुण आता है, रजोगुण भी आता है, तमोगुण भी आता है, कभी कभी मिक्सर हो जाता है। सुबह का टाइम 10 बजे का जो है वो सतोगुणी है, तो हमारे मन में अच्छी भावनाएं ज्यादा रहती है, और दोपहर में रजोगुणी हो जाता है, दोपहर 10 बजे के बाद शाम को रजोगुणी हो जाता है, तो हम लोग ज्यादा पैशनेट रहते हैं, और फिर रात को तमोगुणी हो जाता है। ये दिन का भी विभाग है, और हमारे अंदर वैसे ही कंटिन्यूअसली ओवरलैप होता रहता है। बहुत ही डीप मैटर है, तो आगे कभी टाइम मिलेगा तो डिस्कस करेंगे। अभी कीर्तन सुना जाए।
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Cool. So we'll hear the kirtan and then we'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,